Welcome to the None But Curious podcast. We're all about finding inspiration in life's uncertainties. Whether you're still figuring things out, questioning your beliefs, or just curious about the world, come hang out with us as we celebrate the beauty of not having all the answers.
Hey there. Have you subscribed to the None But Curious podcast yet? Are you getting the monthly newsletter that sends blogs, podcast episodes, and additional resources of the month straight to your inbox? Okay. Pause this really quick and visit nonebutcurious.org and go subscribe to both. Oh, and if you like extra credit, join our None But Curious Facebook community for more content and conversation. When we talk about space, it's easy to think of the physical realm, the rooms we live in, the places we go. But space is so much more than just physical. It encompasses our mental clarity, our emotional balance, our social interactions, and even our spiritual well being. Each type of space plays a crucial role in how we function and feel. And today, we'll discuss the different types of space and how too much or too little of each can impact us. We'll explore the benefits and challenges of finding the right balance and the importance of creating safe spaces. So let's start with physical space. Physical space is the tangible environment around us, our homes, workplaces, parks, and public areas. It's the most straightforward form of space, but has profound effects on our well being. And admittedly, this is the whole reason I am doing this podcast episode. Um, I have been feeling like I have lacked personal physical space in my home for a while. And so, about a year ago now or so, my husband made a room for me down in the basement that I could disappear to. And it's my office, it's my creative space, what have you. And it was getting cluttered and crowded. So I went downstairs and I rearranged it, and it felt so much better. It felt so much better that my daughter decided that that's where she was going to camp out for the next 12 hours. And that's great. I want really cool spaces for my kids to hang out, my family to hang out. But I was really aggravated about not having a space of my own. And so here we are talking about space because it's really important. Living or working in cramped spaces can significantly elevate stress levels, manifesting as heightened aggression and mental fatigue. Gary Evans' 2003 research highlights that overcrowded environments not only impinge on our sense of privacy, but also elevate physiological stress markers such as cortisol levels. And sustained high cortisol can lead to a range of health issues, including anxiety, depression, and cardiovascular diseases. Furthermore, a 2021 study by Peng Cheng et al. Reinforced these conclusions by revealing a strong association between depression and Chinese household overcrowding. Excessive space in living environments can significantly impact mental health as well by fostering feelings of isolation and loneliness. Individuals living in overly large homes or remote areas often miss out on the spontaneous social interactions that are essential for maintaining a sense of community and belonging. For example, those in sprawling suburban neighborhoods may have fewer opportunities for casual encounters with neighbors, leading to a diminished sense of social support. Similarly, rural residents may face geographical barriers that limit their access to social activities and services, exacerbating feelings of isolation. The lack of regular, meaningful human connections can increase the risk of depression and anxiety. Additionally, large impersonal spaces within a home can feel empty and unwelcoming, further contributing to a sense of solitude. And while ample space may provide physical comfort, too much can create a psychological void. So, here's some practical tips in managing physical space. Declutter regularly. This reduces stress and increases a sense of control over your environment, whether your space is big or small. Maximize natural light. Open curtains, use mirrors, just get as much natural light as possible in the house or the space to boost your mood and help make a space feel larger than it is. In larger spaces, create your own cozy space. Designate smaller areas within large rooms where you can relax and feel comfortable. Set up personal nooks for reading, meditating, or other quiet activities as well. Now, let's talk about mental space. This refers to the cognitive bandwidth we have to process information, make decisions, and engage in creative or analytical thinking. Our mental space is influenced by both external stimuli and internal thoughts. Mental clutter, much like a messy desk, fills your mind with a jumble of thoughts and worries, making it really hard to focus. It's like trying to find a pen in a cluttered drawer. You know it's there somewhere, but it's buried under a heap of other stuff. This clutter can leave you feeling stressed out and overwhelmed, making it tough to make decisions or even come up with new ideas. Imagine you're trying to work on a project, but your mind keeps wandering to a million other things you need to do. It's frustrating and exhausting, right? This cognitive overload doesn't just affect your ability to focus, it can also take a toll on your mental health. When your brain is constantly bombarded with information and distractions, it struggles to filter out what's important and what's not. This can lead to heightened levels of stress and anxiety as you try to keep up with everything. It's like having too many tabs open on your computer. All those background processes slow down your system and drain your energy. When you're not bombarded with thoughts and distractions, what a blissful space to be in, your mind gets a chance to wander and explore new ideas. In Sandy Mann's book, The Science of Boredom, she reveals that boredom is more than just a moment of inactivity. It's a crucial pause in our hyperstimulated lives. Mann suggests that boredom is not simply a lack of external stimuli, but rather a challenge to engage with your internal thoughts. It sparks creative thinking, encouraging out of the box ideas and inventive problem solving. So instead of viewing boredom as a hindrance, Mann encourages us to embrace it as a gateway to inspiration and insight. Moments of boredom offer a unique opportunity for self reflection, enabling each of us to delve deep into our thoughts and emotions and gain valuable insight into ourselves. So, here's some practical tips for managing your mental space. Set boundaries, allocate specific times for work, play, and rest to avoid mental overload and ensure you have time to recharge. This is crucial. Setting boundaries is a big deal and it's really hard. I know. Try it. Just don't even try, just do. Don't try, just do. Set boundaries. Take a digital detox. Take regular breaks from your devices to clear your mind and reduce information overload. Even a couple hours break is a magnificent weight off of your shoulders. And engage in creative activities. Find hobbies or creative projects that stimulate your mind and provide a break from routine tasks. Try something new. And since one of the cures for boredom is catching up or hanging out with friends, let's talk about social space now, the network of relationships and interactions within which we operate. This includes our family, our friends, our work colleagues, and community members. Healthy social spaces provide support, belonging, and opportunities for meaningful interactions. A lack of social space can lead to loneliness, which has been linked to increased risks of depression, anxiety, and even physical health issues like cardiovascular disease. Julianne Holt Lundstad's research in 2015 highlighted that social isolation and loneliness, even perceived, can increase the risk of premature death by up to 30%. Holt Lundstad stated, loneliness and social isolation are as harmful to our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. On the other hand, Shiro Gabriel, professor of psychology at University at Buffalo, highlights the delicate balance introverts maintain to avoid social exhaustion and burnout. Introverts need meaningful social connections that are less frequent but deeply personal to recharge. Gabriel explains that while introverts thrive on solitude, completely retreating can lead to loneliness and exacerbate burnout. Introverts need space to manage their social interactions in a way that supports their mental well being. This approach helps prevent the social exhaustion and burnout that can result from either excessive social interaction or prolonged isolation. Additionally, introverts may be susceptible to what's called the loneliness loop, a cycle where a lack of social interaction can lead to increased feelings of loneliness, causing further withdrawal and isolation. And this loop can be particularly challenging for introverts who, despite their comfort with being alone, still require a certain level of deep, meaningful social engagement to feel connected. Breaking this loop involves recognizing the need for balance between solitude and socializing and taking proactive steps to cultivate relationships that fulfill their need for meaningful connection. So, here's some practical tips to manage your social space. Remember, it's quality over quantity. Focus on deepening a few key relationships rather than spreading yourself too thin socially. Schedule alone time. Ensure you have regular periods of solitude to recharge, especially if you're an introvert. But even if you're an extrovert, that's necessary too. And join communities. Engage in community activities or groups that align with your interests to foster a sense of belonging. And now we're on to emotional space. Dun, dun, dun. Everybody's favorite space. Emotional space is our capacity to experience, process, and manage our emotions. It's about having the time and mental resources to deal with emotional experiences constructively. I have a 3-year-old. I don't remember what emotional space is. I mean, let's just take a break for a second. So, just having a 3-year-old, means that I have lack of physical space because I'm constantly being climbed on. I have lack of mental space because um, I'm constantly being asked questions or talked to, and emotional space. I sometimes have a real hard time regulating my own emotions because I'm sleep deprived because he's been potty training and now he's getting up really early in the morning and going to bed late at night because he's 3. Um, so yeah, that's probably why I'm talking about space. When we lack emotional space, often due to overwhelming responsibilities or constant demands, we struggle to process our feelings effectively. The absence of emotional space, as outlined by James Gross in his 2002 study, can have a significant impact on both mental and physical well being. Gross mentions some individuals are likely to use maladaptive emotion regulation strategies, such as rumination or suppression, which can exacerbate negative emotions. These approaches are often used when we lack emotional space. Not only do they fail to address the root of the problem, they can also make things worse by intensifying negative feelings. Plus, the fallout from poor emotional regulation isn't just short term, it can lead to lasting issues for mental and physical health. But having an excess of emotional space can also pose significant challenges to our well being. When there's an abundance of emotional space, it can lead to rumination, a process where we dwell excessively on our thoughts and emotions. Susan Nolan Hoeksema, in her book, The Power of Women Harness Your Unique Strengths at Home, at Work, and in Your Community, discusses how this constant mental rehearsal of distressing thoughts and feelings can exacerbate negative emotions and contribute to a downward spiral of mood. Moreover, having too much emotional space may also lead to feelings of emptiness or disconnection, as individuals may struggle to engage with their emotions in a meaningful way. This can hinder the development of emotional intelligence and resilience and make it difficult to navigate life's challenges effectively. So, here's some tips to handle emotional space. Expressive writing. Any kind of expressive writing is going to be helpful. Journaling, brain dumping, list making, word association. It provides an outlet for expressing suppressed emotions and helps break the cycle of rumination. Set aside some worry time. Designate specific times during the day to address worries or concerns. This will allow you to continue ruminating, but to a limited period rather than letting it consume your entire day. And challenge your negative thoughts. Reframing is a fantastic exercise. It's difficult, but if you can transform negative into positive and keep practicing it over time, you're going to do it more automatically. Now we're going to go into spiritual space that involves our beliefs, values, and the search for meaning and purpose in life. It's a deeply personal realm that can provide comfort, guidance, and strength. The absence of spiritual space where individuals lack opportunities for reflection, connection, and transcendence can lead to a sense of inner emptiness and existential dissatisfaction. Without the space to explore your spiritual beliefs, values, and experiences, you may struggle to find meaning and purpose in your life. This can contribute to feelings of disconnection from yourself, others, and the world at large, and foster a sense of spiritual malaise. Additionally, without spiritual space, you may rely solely on external sources for validation and fulfillment, leading to a constant pursuit of material possessions or fleeting pleasures that fail to satisfy deeper existential needs. Overall, the lack of spiritual space can hinder personal growth, emotional well being, and a sense of inner peace. We've all been there one time or another, probably more so as agnostics and nuns, but but having an excess of spiritual space where individuals become overly preoccupied with spiritual practices or beliefs to the exclusion of other aspects of life can also have negative consequences. While spirituality can provide a sense of meaning and connection, an excessive focus on spiritual pursuits may lead to neglect of other important areas such as your relationships, work, and physical health. This imbalance can result in feelings of isolation as individuals may prioritize solitary spiritual practices over social interaction and community engagement. Additionally, an overemphasis on spiritual pursuits can potentially foster a sense of superiority or judgment towards those who do not share similar beliefs, leading to division and conflict rather than unity and compassion. We don't have that here at None But Curious, right? We don't have a sense of superiority or judgment, but there are a lot of people in the world who will. I do a lot of yoga. I have all these crystals. There are people out there, and maybe it's you. I know I've done it too when I had my business Hidden Sage years ago. I fell into this trap of, oh, these people need me. No, nobody needs me. I'm here to help. And it was gross. And as soon as it was gross, I shut it down. Honestly, I shut my business down right as it was ramping up because I didn't like that icky feeling. No, no, no. So, here are some tips to deal with spiritual space. Daily reflection. Set aside time each day for reflection or practices that resonate with you. Integrate your values in your daily actions, and that will help create a cohesive sense of purpose. Engage with spiritual or philosophical communities that support your search for meaning, whether they're in person, whether it's online, like here at None But Curious. Being involved and feeling a sense of belonging does help with managing your spiritual space. And lastly, let's explore the concept of safe spaces. Safe spaces are environments where individuals feel secure, respected, and free to express themselves without fear of judgment or harm. Safe spaces offer refuge from external pressures and a supportive environment for personal growth and healing. For marginalized groups, safe spaces are crucial, providing protection from discrimination and providing a sense of belonging. Ibram X. Kendi, in his book, How to Be an Anti Racist, highlights the importance of such spaces in fostering inclusivity and understanding. Kendi emphasizes the critical need for safe spaces as essential components of anti racist practice, particularly for marginalized groups. These environments serve as platforms where individuals can engage in honest and open dialogue about race, identity, and systemic oppression without fear of judgment or retaliation. By providing platforms for individuals to share their experiences, perspectives, and challenges, safe spaces empower communities to confront and challenge oppressive systems, fostering genuine equity and justice. In The Coddling of the American Mind, Greg Lukianoff and Jonathan Haidt expressed concerns about the proliferation of safe spaces on college campuses and their potential impact on intellectual freedom and discourse. They argue that while safe spaces can provide valuable support for marginalized groups and individuals dealing with trauma, they may inadvertently contribute to a culture of fragility where students are shielded from uncomfortable or challenging ideas. The authors caution against creating an environment where students are insulated from viewpoints that differ from their own, as this can inhibit critical thinking and resilience. Lukianoff and Haidt emphasize the need for universities to prioritize both psychological safety and intellectual freedom, creating environments where students feel empowered to engage with a wide range of perspectives, even those that may be controversial or uncomfortable. By striking this balance, Lukianoff and Haidt argue that universities can promote a culture of open inquiry and resilience while still providing support for students. So, tips on creating safe spaces: establish boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. That's in any space, right? A boundary defines a space. Clearly define the purpose and limits of your safe space to maintain its integrity. Encourage open dialogue. Foster an environment where respectful and constructive discussions can take place. And be inclusive. Ensure that your safe space is welcoming and supportive for all participants. Each type of space influences our well being in profound ways, from our stress levels to our sense of belonging and purpose. And as we've explored the benefits and challenges associated with different forms of space, it's clear that finding the right balance is key to our overall health and happiness. Are you ready to prioritize space in your life? By focusing on our physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual spaces, that's a lot of them, we can enhance our overall well being. Declutter your surroundings, set mental boundaries, nurture deep relationships, and engage in spiritual practices that resonate with you. Recognize the importance of creating safe spaces to foster inclusivity, understanding, and social justice. And by embracing the concept of space in its various dimensions and advocating for safe and supportive environments, we can create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. So, let's take action to cultivate spaces that nourish our minds, bodies, and spirits, and empower others to do the same. Until next time.